Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling something that is absolutely vital, yet, let's be real, incredibly frustrating for so many expectant mothers: pregnancy sleep. We're going to take the core medical facts about what's actually happening to your body right now and translate them into a practical, actionable survival guide. The goal here is to take the stress completely out of your bedtime. So let's dive into this. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, I just toss and turn all night. My back is constantly aching. I'm making a million trips to the bathroom, and my mind literally will not shut off. If you're nodding your head at the screen right now, I want to assure you that your feelings are completely validated. You are definitely not alone in this. In fact, this is exactly what doctors hear, day in and day out, from exhausted mothers-to-be. But before we can go ahead and fix your sleep, we kind of need to change how you think about it. Sleep isn't just a comfort issue. We so often fall into the trap of thinking, oh, I'll just get by on a few hours, it's fine, I'll push through. Actually, scratch that. It's not fine. Sleep is a critical biological necessity. It links directly to your overall pregnancy health, how your baby grows, and even your delivery outcomes. It is officially time to drop any guilt you might have about needing to just lie down and rest. So here's our agenda for this explainer. 1. Sleep a necessity. 2. Disturbed sleep causes. 3. Best sleeping positions. 4. Pillow and trimester guide. 5. Common problems. And finally, 6. When to see a doctor. All right, let's jump right into section 1. Sleep, a necessity. Why you can't compromise on rest. There is sheer medical weight behind your body's demand for sleep right now. Your deep, restorative sleep is out there actively fueling your baby's brain and body growth. But it's protecting you, too. Sleep does the heavy lifting of regulating your blood pressure and your blood sugar. In fact, chronic poor sleep significantly bumps up your risk for serious conditions like preeclampsia and gestational diabetes. And beyond the physical stuff, getting adequate rest protects your mental well-being, actively reducing the risk of mood swings and postpartum depression. Think of it as your body's essential repair time. Moving on to section 2. Disturbed sleep causes. Why a good night's rest feels impossible. 30 to 50%. That is a massive number, right? Well, that's the actual increase in your body's blood volume during pregnancy. Because you have so much extra blood pumping through your system, your kidneys are forced to work absolute overtime to filter it all. And that extra filtration, it produces more urine. So if you're pulling your hair out over those frequent nighttime bathroom trips, this is exactly the biological reason why it's happening. But hey, it's not just the extra fluids. You're also dealing with some wild hormonal spikes. Take progesterone, for example. It completely crashes your energy early in pregnancy. But then, ironically enough, it disrupts your sleep cycles later on, basically blocking you from falling into that deep sleep you crave. On top of that, your growing belly is physically altering your center of gravity, causing a ton of pelvic and back strain. Then you've got the uterus placing direct, heavy pressure on the bladder, usually coupled with some pretty severe leg cramps. Add to all of that a restless, anxious mind worrying about the baby and the future, which releases stress hormones, and wow, deep sleep really doesn't stand a chance against all of this unless we actively intervene. Which brings us to section 3, best sleeping positions, finding the gold standard for safety. Now, to really understand sleeping positions, we kind of have to talk about anatomy for a second. Meet your inferior vena cava. This is a massive, incredibly important blood vessel located right on the right side of your spine. Its main job is to carry blood from your lower body all the way back up to your heart. So the absolutely crucial point to remember is this: as your uterus grows heavier, we want to completely avoid putting any pressure on this vital vein. And that leads us to this vital comparison. The absolute medical gold standard for pregnancy sleep? It's your left side. Sleeping on your left keeps that heavy uterus right off the vena cava, which guarantees maximum blood and oxygen flow directly to your baby. Plus, it improves your kidney function, which helps flush out fluids and actually reduces that annoying swelling in your ankles and feet. Now let's contrast this with back sleeping, especially when you get into the late 2nd and 3rd trimesters. If you lie flat on your back, your uterus presses directly onto that vena cava. This can cause a sudden drop in your blood pressure, dizzy spells for you, and reduced blood flow to your baby. We definitely want to avoid that. However, let me be very, very clear here. If you wake up in the middle of the night and find yourself flat on your back, do not panic. Seriously, your body is smart and it will usually wake you up if it's uncomfortable. Just calmly roll back onto your side and go back to sleep. All right, section 4, pillow tips and trimester guide, actionable coaching for your changing body. You can actually achieve some pretty amazing support with 3 super simple steps. First, grab a pillow and place it between your knees. This perfectly aligns your spine and instantly reduces pressure on those aching hip joints. Second, wedge a nice thin pillow right under your belly to give yourself a slight, comforting lift. And third, tuck a pillow directly behind your back. This physically stops you from rolling over onto your back while you're deep asleep. Now, if you don't want to wrestle with a mountain of different pillows all night long, those full-body C-shape or U-shape pregnancy pillows are just brilliant because they provide all of this support in one go. But keep in mind, how you sleep also depends heavily on exactly where you are in your pregnancy timeline. During your first trimester, your biggest enemy is just pure, unadulterated exhaustion from all those hormones. The strategy here, listen to your body and take short 20 to 30-minute daytime naps. Just don't nap too long or you're going to ruin your nighttime sleep. In the second trimester, you generally start feeling your best. Use this golden window to strictly build up your left side sleeping routine so it becomes a rock-solid habit. By the third trimester, well, things get tough. You are going to need all those pillows we just talked about. You should also take warm showers before bed to relax your tight muscles. And crucially, leave a solid 2 to 3 hour gap between your dinner and your bedtime so acid reflux doesn't keep you up.
Let's move to Section 5, Common Problems, Quick Fixes for Nighttime Ailments.
Here are some highly effective, rapid-fire tweaks. Waking up with painful leg cramps? Do some light calf stretching before you get into bed and make absolutely sure you're properly hydrated. Suffering from heartburn? Elevate your head with an extra pillow, try eating smaller meals throughout the day, and absolutely under no circumstances have spicy or heavy foods for dinner. What about that frequent urination we talked about earlier? The pro trick is to front-load your fluids during the daytime and then intentionally cut back your water intake about 2 hours before you hit the hay. Finally, if you're dealing with a restless mind, you've got to cut out the screen time. Try some guided meditation or simply keep a physical notebook right by your bed. Write down all your worries, your to-do lists, the whole shebang. Your brain will know they're stored safely, which gives it permission to finally shut down. Now, looking at all these hurdles, you might be at your wit's end just staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., asking yourself this exact question. Can I please just take a sleeping pill to finally get some rest? And the answer to that is very clear. Absolutely no self-medication. Over-the-counter sleeping pills can be incredibly unsafe for your developing baby. You really must try the non-medicated methods we've just gone over first. But if your insomnia is truly unbearable and nothing is working, you have to talk to your doctor. Any medication at all must be carefully selected and taken strictly under their direct professional guidance. Which brings us to our final part, Section 6, When to See a Doctor, Identifying the Red Flags. Please pay close attention to these symptoms, folks. If you experience an inability to sleep at all for a full week, that is a major red flag. If your lack of sleep means your basic daytime functioning is severely affected or you are experiencing extreme, unmanageable daytime sleepiness, you need to be seen by a professional. Furthermore, if your partner notices severe snoring or, terrifyingly, instances where your breathing actually stops during sleep, which is a potential sign of sleep apnea, you should never, ever ignore it. These symptoms mean it is time to consult your doctor immediately. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this deeply empowering thought. View your sleep with respect, not guilt. Resting is a biological requirement, giving your body time to repair and your baby time to grow. Your body is doing something downright miraculous right now, and it takes an immense amount of energy. Giving in to rest is quite literally the best thing you can do for the life growing inside of you. So, here is my final question for you to ponder. What is one simple change you can make to your bedtime routine tonight to respect your body's biological need for sleep? Will you grab that extra pillow for your knees? Will you finally put the phone away an hour before bed? Pick just one thing, try it tonight, and take back your rest. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer.